Mix 106 movie reviews with our Mix 106 movie critic, Willie Waffle. A whole bunch of movies to see this week. Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension. We've got Steve Jobs about Apple, and also Bill Murray stars in Rock the Kasbah, and Gem and the Holograms.
I don't care what you pay me. I'm not seeing Gem and the Holograms.
Oh, that's the one I wanted to know about. I loved her when I was a kid.
Seriously?
Yes.
Listen
the
to her
earring
voice.
and the big pink hair. Now, I do have a question. Is the girl that stars as Gem, is she the girl from Nashville, the TV show?
I think she is, but I didn't want to do any research because it just made me feel icky.
Why? It's like a rocker Barbie.
The whole movie just feels like it's a ripoff of Hannah Montana.
Well, no, it's a ripoff from Gem.
And that's definitely what we don't need.
It's a ripoff from Gem and the Holograms.
I think I've just spent more time talking about Gem than I ever wanted to in my entire life.
Well, we're wasting time. We got 3 movies this week.
What did you see, Mr. Waffle?
Well, how about Bill Murray in Rock the Kasbah?
And did you just love it because it's Bill Murray?
Well, we love Bill Murray.
But not the movie. Is this like Aloha?
Yeah, it's not that bad, thank God. In this movie, it's Bill Murray kind of returning to roots. Bill Murray from Stripes, Bill Murray from Ghostbusters, the wise guy who always has a funny comeback or a stinging one-liner to kind of poke authority in the eye. That's the Bill Murray we like. And in this case, he's a rock tour manager who's taking his latest act over to Afghanistan to sing for the troops, and she dumps him there. And now he's got to find his way home, and along the way, he finds the greatest voice he's ever heard in his entire life. And I think they're trying to accomplish too much here. If it was just Bill Murray, trying to get home and, in dealing with all the craziness and all the outrageousness around him, that would have been enough. Then they throw in the whole thing about the redemption and finding the voice and trying to help her, and it just feels tacked on a little bit. And I'm
so wait, he goes to Afghanistan, he gets dumped, and then he finds a protege?
Yeah, he finds a protege. It's a woman who's not allowed to sing because of the religious aspects over there, but he wants to get her on the Afghan Star TV show, which is like American Idol.
Why does this sound a little bit like Ishtar to me?
Well, it's a lot of Ishtar, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's a bad sign.
There's a big, heavy Ishtar influence.
That's a bad sign. Ishtar shouldn't be influencing anything.
Ishtar, one of the most denigrated movies ever. Not as horrible as everybody says it is.
It
not
was
good,
horrible.
But not.
Any movie that has those two singing, I've blanked out. Warren Beatty singing in a movie is horrible.
Dustin Hoffman singing is worse.
Is worse, yes, exactly. So what do you give this movie?
We're going to say 2 waffles for Rock the Kasbah.
All right. Let's go to the scary movie. What is this, Paranormal 7, 8?
Something like that. They drop the numbers. Now it's Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension. That's just to make it sound more serious, I guess.
Well, you've got to have something for Halloween because it is coming up next week. So the first thing I want to know, is it scary?
It's got its scary moments. It's got its shocking moments. Yeah, they're trying to tie all the Paranormal Activity movies together, trying to argue that there was a reason why everything always happened in this house, why these people over the years have ended up in that house, and what the purpose of it all was. Who cares, okay? Here's the Paranormal Activity formula, and they follow it to a T. There's people in a house. Creepy things start to happen. We're going to set up video cameras and tape it overnight, and then we're going to have mayhem. That's what you wanted. That's what you're going to get. You've got a really cool big climax, but overall, I'd say like 2 waffles. I don't care about all this other mystery. It doesn't even matter in the end.
That's the thing I thought. Like, they're trying to just go too far back to get to the source, and it's like, just scare me.
Exactly, and that's when the movie's at its best. When it just wants to scare me, we're doing all right.
All right, and then finally, it's another story about Steve Jobs.
Yeah, remember a couple of weeks ago when all those articles and interviews were happening and they were talking about this new movie, Steve Jobs, and nobody could see it because it was only playing in New York and L.A.?
Yeah.
Well, they've deemed the rest of us worthy to see Steve Jobs now.
I already did, and Ashton Kutcher played him.
I know, right?
Like, what is this?
Well, this is kind of another take on Steve Jobs, this time with Michael Fassbender playing Steve Jobs, and it's written by Aaron Sorkin, and it's directed by Danny Boyle, and you're really looking at Steve Jobs at 3 points in his life, 3 big product releases, and we see his relationships and we see the things going on in his life as we hear the conversations that are happening on those days. And in that sense, the movie isn't really a linear movie or a biographical movie. It's including a lot of that material, but mostly, it's an acting movie and it's a writing movie. It's about the dialogue between the characters. That you kind of get wrapped up in those discussions. You get to see the actors like Michael Fassbender, bringing Steve Jobs to life. Showing you he's kind of a jerk. He's kind of a cult leader. He is getting all these people to follow him and to do his bidding so that his company will be successful. And then he's kind of leaving them behind a little bit.
Now, who plays Steve Wozniak in this?
That would be Seth Rogen.
That's right. And Steve Wozniak actually said that he did a very good job playing him.
Well, he plays it very much like Seth Rogen. But there are a couple of moments where he steps out of the Seth Rogen, kind of body, and you see him in this dramatic moment, making a revelation, talking to Steve Jobs, and you get to see the pain that's going on here and the anger that's going on here, and you go, hey, Rogen didn't do too bad.
All right, so what do you give this movie?
We'll go 2.5 waffles for Steve Jobs.
Man, I had such high hopes out of 4 movies that one of them would do really well this week, and instead they all just did,
Yeah, it's an week. I mean, come on. None of these movies is all that big and all that promising when they release all of them in the same week.
Everyone's saving their money for Star Wars.
Oh, I already got my tickets.
You and Mike.
Hey, we're taking people to the movie here on the 17th.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right, what do we have next week?
Next week, we're talking about Our Brand is Crisis with Sandra Bullock.
All right, I hope that's good. It looks good, which always worries me. All right, we will talk to you next week, Willie.
All right, talk to you next week.